It was a moonless night when I first encountered the eerie presence that would forever change my life. The air was heavy with anticipation as I made my way through the desolate woods surrounding the old mansion. Legends whispered of its dark past, warning all who dared to enter. But I, driven by curiosity and a thirst for adventure, had made up my mind. The mansion loomed before me, a dilapidated structure with broken windows and crumbling walls. The sound of my footsteps echoed through the silent night, as if the very earth was protesting my intrusion. Pushing open the creaking front door, I stepped into the realm of the unknown. The interior of the mansion was engulfed in darkness, broken only by slivers of pale moonlight filtering through the cracked windows. The air was stale and suffocating, the smell of decay hanging heavily. As I cautiously ventured deeper into the mansion, I couldn't shake the feeling that unseen eyes were watching my every move. The rooms were filled with remnants of a forgotten past, tattered furniture, peeling wallpaper, and shattered mirrors reflecting fractured memories. The sound of whispers caressed my ears, their haunting tones sending shivers down my spine. It was as if the very walls held the secrets of this place, waiting to be revealed. As I continued my exploration, an uneasy feeling settled deep within me. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on sinister forms that made my heart race. I could swear I heard faint cries, distant echoes of anguish that reverberated through the halls. The mansion seemed alive, its presence malevolent and restless. In one particular room, a single candle flickered, casting eerie shadows on the worn wooden floor. I approached cautiously, drawn to its weak glow. As I reached out to touch it, a sudden gust of wind extinguished the flame, plunging the room into complete darkness. Panic surged through me, my heart pounding in my chest. A whisper, barely audible, echoed through the room. "Leave," it hissed, a voice dripping with malice. I froze, my body paralyzed with fear. The room grew colder, the air heavy with an otherworldly presence. In that moment, I knew I had awakened something sinister. I raced through the mansion, desperate to escape its clutches. But the hallways seemed to twist and turn, leading me in circles. The walls shifted, their portraits morphing into grotesque faces that leered at me. The mansion was toying with me, its dark essence relishing in my terror. As I stumbled into a grand hall, I saw a figure standing in the distance, a shadowy silhouette that sent chills down my spine. It whispered my name, its voice a haunting melody that reverberated in my mind. I tried to run, but my legs betrayed me, unable to carry me away from the looming darkness. The figure approached, its features becoming clearer. It wore the tattered remnants of a once elegant gown, its face gaunt and pale. Hollow eyes bore into mine, filled with a hunger that chilled me to the bone. "You can't escape," it hissed, its voice a symphony of anguish. "You belong to this place now." Time lost all meaning as the mansion's grip tightened around me. I became a prisoner of its haunting corridors, trapped in a labyrinth of fear and despair. The whispers grew louder, their words twisting into malicious taunts. Every night, I could feel unseen hands caress my skin, icy fingers that left trails of goosebumps in their wake. My sanity began to unravel, my mind a battleground between reality and the twisted realm of the mansion. I saw apparitions, phantoms that danced in the moonlight and disappeared with the rising sun. They whispered secrets, ancient tales of tragedy and suffering. The mansion reveled in its dark history, relishing in my torment. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. I had become a mere shell of my former self, a vessel for the malevolence that consumed the mansion. There was no escape, no respite from the constant barrage of horrors. I had become a prisoner in my own mind, a victim of the mansion's insatiable hunger. And so, I remain, eternally trapped within the confines of the mansion's haunted halls. The whispers continue, their voices a symphony of despair. I am but a pawn in its twisted game, a soul forever entwined with the shadows. The mansion has claimed me, and I am doomed to wander its halls for all eternity, a testament to the horrors that lie within.
The Haunting of Blackwood Manor. I have always been fascinated by the supernatural and the unexplained. Growing up, I devoured horror stories and eagerly sought out the thrill of being scared. Little did I know that I was about to experience a terror beyond my wildest nightmares. It all started when I inherited Blackwood Manor, an imposing Victorian mansion nestled deep in the heart of a desolate forest. The moment I set foot on the property, an eerie chill crept up my spine, and an overwhelming sense of unease washed over me. The air felt heavy with the weight of forgotten secrets, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. As I stepped inside the creaking doors of Blackwood Manor, I was greeted by a foreboding silence. The mansion was shrouded in darkness, with only the faint glow of moonlight filtering through the grimy windows. Shadows danced along the walls, seemingly alive with a malevolent energy. With each passing day, the house revealed more of its sinister nature. Strange noises echoed through the halls at night, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and footsteps that trailed behind me, always just out of reach. Objects would mysteriously move from one place to another, as if controlled by an unseen force. Doors slammed shut without warning, trapping me in rooms, and the temperature would plummet, causing my breath to fog in the air. Sleep became a distant memory as nightmares plagued my every moment. Visions of grotesque figures lurking in the corners of my room tormented me. Their eyes, filled with an otherworldly hunger, seemed to pierce through my soul. I could no longer differentiate between reality and the twisted nightmares that plagued my mind. Desperate for answers, I began researching the history of Blackwood Manor. It had a dark past, riddled with tragedy and despair. Stories spoke of a family that had once resided there, only to meet a grisly end under mysterious circumstances. Legends whispered of an ancient curse, haunting the halls and seeking revenge against anyone who dared to disturb the eternal slumber of the Blackwoods. With each revelation, the pieces of the puzzle started falling into place. I realized that the spirits of the deceased Blackwoods were trapped within the walls of the mansion, yearning for release. They were desperate to share their story, their pain, and their fury. But would I be the one to set them free, or would I become another victim of their eternal torment? As I delved deeper into the heart of the mystery, the encounters with the supernatural grew more intense. Apparitions materialized before me, their ghostly forms twisting and contorting in unimaginable ways. Their agonized screams echoed through the night, leaving me paralyzed with fear. Malevolent laughter filled the air, taunting me, daring me to uncover the truth. I sought help from paranormal experts, but their attempts to cleanse the house of its evil presence proved futile. They warned me that Blackwood Manor was a portal to the other side, a realm where the living and the dead intertwined. The spirits, fueled by their eternal anguish, were too powerful to be banished. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, I realized that I had become a mere pawn in their sinister game. The ghosts grew bolder, their wrath escalating with each passing night. They would whisper my name, a cold breath on the back of my neck, and reach out with icy fingers to drag me into the abyss. But in the midst of the horror, a glimmer of hope emerged. The journal of one of the deceased Blackwood family members revealed a secret ritual, a final chance to break the curse and free the tormented souls trapped within the mansion's walls. It required a sacrifice that would bind my fate with theirs, forever entwining our destinies. With trembling hands and a heart filled with dread, I embarked on the ritual. The walls of Blackwood Manor trembled, and a haunting chorus of wails and screams filled the air. The spirits, both vengeful and desperate, surged toward me, their ethereal forms merging with my own. In that moment, I felt a profound connection with the spirits, their pain and suffering merging with my own. I could see their past, their hopes and dreams turned to ashes, their lives cut short by darkness. And then, as if the world had shifted on its axis, the mansion fell silent. Blackwood Manor stood as a mere shell of its former self. The curse had been broken, and the spirits were finally at peace. I, too, had changed, forever marked by the horrors I had endured. The memories of Blackwood Manor would forever haunt my dreams, a constant reminder of the thin veil that separates the living from the dead. And so, I leave this tale as a warning to all who dare to venture into the realm of the unknown. There are forces beyond our comprehension, lurking in the shadows, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls. Blackwood Manor may have found its peace, but its ghosts will forever live on in the annals of horror, reminding us that some nightmares are all too real.
The Phantom Bride. I've always been drawn to abandoned places. The desolation and decay, the remnants of forgotten lives, they fascinated me. So, when I heard rumors of an abandoned mansion hidden deep within the woods, I couldn't resist the temptation to explore it. Little did I know that my curiosity would lead me down a path of terror and despair. It was a moonlit night when I arrived at the outskirts of the woods. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and a chill ran down my spine as I made my way deeper into the darkness. The sounds of nocturnal creatures added to the eerie ambience, but I pressed on, determined to uncover the secrets of the Phantom Bride. After what felt like hours of navigating through dense undergrowth, I stumbled upon an ancient wrought iron gate. The mansion loomed before me, its grandeur now a haunting reminder of its former glory. As I stepped closer, the air grew heavy, and an oppressive silence settled over the estate. Pushing open the creaking front door, I entered a world frozen in time. Dust covered the marble floors, cobwebs hung from chandeliers, and faded portraits stared back at me with lifeless eyes. The mansion had an unsettling aura, as if it held its breath, waiting for me to disturb its slumber. I explored room after room, my heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and unease. In one particular chamber, I discovered a worn-out diary, its pages yellowed with age. It belonged to the bride who once lived here, a tragic figure named Amelia. Her words sent shivers down my spine. Amelia's diary chronicled her ill-fated love story. She had fallen deeply in love with a charming gentleman, but their happiness was short-lived. On their wedding day, he vanished without a trace. Distraught and broken-hearted, Amelia waited for him, trapped in a web of sorrow and despair. Legend had it that Amelia's spirit still roamed the mansion, forever seeking her lost love. Many who had dared to enter the estate never returned, claimed by the vengeful Phantom Bride. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach, but I couldn't tear myself away from her tragic tale. As I delved deeper into the mansion's secrets, I began to hear whispers in the wind, carried on unseen lips. The temperature plummeted, and a sense of dread filled the air. Shadows danced on the walls, their movements erratic and menacing. In the dim light of a flickering candle, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber. It was a room adorned with faded wedding decorations, a shrine to Amelia's eternal weight. The air was thick with melancholy, and I could almost feel Amelia's presence enveloping me. Fear clawed at my mind, but my curiosity pushed me forward. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind extinguished the candle. Darkness swallowed the room, and the eerie silence shattered with a blood-curdling scream. The sound seemed to reverberate through the entire mansion, piercing my very soul. I felt a cold breath on my neck, and my heart raced as I turned around. There, standing before me, was Amelia herself, a phantom bride in a tattered wedding gown. Her eyes burned with an otherworldly light, filled with sorrow and rage. Paralyzed with fear, I could only watch as she floated towards me. Her voice echoed in my head, a haunting lament that echoed through the corridors of my mind. She spoke of her love betrayed, her eternal anguish, and her insatiable hunger for vengeance. Time ceased to exist as Amelia's grip tightened around me, her icy touch draining the warmth from my body. I could feel myself fading, slipping into the dark abyss. But just before I succumbed to her ghostly embrace, a burst of courage surged within me. With every ounce of strength, I tore myself free from her grasp and raced towards the exit. Amelia's anguished screams filled the air, growing louder and more desperate with each step. The mansion shook with her fury, but I didn't look back. I ran as if my very life depended on it. Finally, I burst through the front doors, gasping for breath. The moon cast an ethereal glow upon the estate, as if bidding me farewell. I stumbled back through the woods, my heart pounding, forever scarred by the encounter with the phantom bride. To this day, I can't erase the memory of Amelia's haunting presence. The phantom bride still lingers in my nightmares, a reminder that some stories are better left untold, and some places are better left abandoned. The mansion stands as a testament to the power of lost love and the eternal torment it can bring.
The Malevolent Curse of the Mysterious Voodoo Doll. I've always been drawn to the macabre, captivated by the unknown. It was this insatiable curiosity that led me down a treacherous path, stumbling upon an enigmatic tale of horror, the legend of the mysterious voodoo doll. Whispers and rumors circulated about its unearthly power, capable of inflicting unimaginable fear and suffering upon its unfortunate victims. Driven by an insidious fascination, I embarked on a relentless quest to uncover the truth. My journey led me to a desolate and foreboding estate, hidden deep within a labyrinthine forest. The very air seemed to carry a heavy veil of dread, warning me of the horrors that lay ahead. Inside the decaying manor, I ventured through a labyrinth of crumbling corridors, my footsteps echoing like a haunting requiem. Eventually, I discovered a secret chamber concealed in the darkest recesses of the estate. The room exuded an aura of malevolence, illuminated only by flickering candles that cast eerie shadows on the walls adorned with cryptic symbols. Nestled in the center of the chamber, atop a weathered pedestal, rested the object of my obsession, the mysterious voodoo doll. As I approached the doll, an overwhelming sense of trepidation consumed me. Its tattered form, once vibrant with color, now emanated a putrid aura of decay. Its lifeless eyes seemed to penetrate my very soul, an unsettling reminder of the curse that awaited anyone foolish enough to toy with its dark magic. Ignoring the cautionary whispers echoing in my mind, I reached out and grasped the doll. A chill crept up my spine as its coarse fabric brushed against my fingertips, sending shivers through my body. In that moment, I sealed my fate, inviting an ancient evil to intertwine its tendrils with my very existence. From the instant I held the doll, an insidious transformation began to grip my world. Shadows danced with sinister intent, whispering their wicked secrets. Nightmares plagued my sleep, vivid and haunting, blending with reality until I could no longer distinguish between the two. The doll, once a lifeless relic, became an instrument of my torment, an extension of the malevolence that now consumed my life. Every night, as the moon cast its pallid glow upon my room, the doll would awaken. Its lifeless eyes would glimmer with an unholy light, and a malevolent grin would spread across its tiny, disfigured face. I would awaken to find myself paralyzed, unable to escape the horrors that awaited me. The doll would move with an unnatural grace, gliding silently across the room, its tiny hands outstretched, seeking the essence of my soul. Each touch of the doll's cold, gnarled fingers filled me with unimaginable terror. It would whisper cruel incantations, its voice a haunting blend of agony and malice. Pain would course through my body like 1,000 fiery needles, as if the very fabric of my being was unraveling under the weight of the curse. Days turned into an unending nightmare, where sleep became a distant memory and the boundaries of reality blurred beyond recognition. I became a mere vessel for the doll's sadistic whims, my sanity slipping away like sand through clenched fists. My friends and loved ones could sense the darkness that consumed me, but they were powerless to intervene. They became estranged, their faces twisted with fear and concern whenever they dared to glance in my direction. The doll's curse had tainted every aspect of my existence, leaving me isolated and trapped within a nightmarish realm of perpetual suffering. Now, as I pen this desperate account, I can feel the doll's presence looming over me, its suffocating aura pressing against my soul. Its whispers grow louder, more insistent, urging me to surrender completely to the madness. I can no longer distinguish between reality and delusion, as the curse tightens its grip, intent on claiming my final remnants of sanity. Beware, dear reader, for the mysterious voodoo doll still exists, and its malevolent power remains unleashed upon the world. I implore you, heed my cautionary tale and resist the allure of the forbidden, for within its shadowy grasp lies a darkness that no mortal should dare to confront. The curse of the mysterious voodoo doll is an eternal torment, a specter that will haunt your dreams and consume your very essence.
I'm a supernatural bounty hunter, and my latest assignment was unlike anything I had ever encountered. Hired to track down an ancient entity, I delved into a realm of darkness that chilled me to the bone. As I ventured deeper into the shadows, my heart quickened, each step a dance between bravery and trepidation. The entity had been awakened from its slumber, stirring unrest among the mortal realm. Its malevolent presence loomed over the landscape, casting a suffocating aura of terror. It had been centuries since this creature last walked the earth, and its hunger for chaos and destruction knew no bounds. I followed the cryptic clues left behind, guiding me to an abandoned, decrepit asylum on the outskirts of town. The air around the building hung heavy with the stench of decay, as if the very walls whispered tales of unspeakable suffering. The asylum's dark history echoed through the halls, tales of cruel experiments and tortured souls that never found solace. With my heart pounding in my chest, I stepped over the threshold into the asylum, my flashlight casting flickering beams of light into the abyss. The hallways twisted and turned, an endless maze designed to ensnare and confound the lost. The walls were adorned with faded portraits of patients long forgotten, their eyes vacant, their expressions hauntingly empty. Creaks and moans reverberated through the asylum, as if the very building groaned under the weight of its own malevolence. Shadows danced in my peripheral vision, taunting my sanity and tempting me to succumb to the abyss. But I pressed on, my resolve unyielding. The deeper I ventured, the more unsettling the asylum became. Bloodstains marred the cracked linoleum floors, and the sound of whispers trailed behind me, as if the tortured souls of the past sought to communicate their suffering. The air grew colder, sending icy tendrils of fear snaking up my spine. I entered a dimly lit room, the flickering overhead light casting eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper. The entity's presence permeated the air, an oppressive weight that threatened to suffocate me. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the room, extinguishing the overhead light, plunging me into complete darkness. My pulse quickened as I fumbled for my backup flashlight, struggling to find solace in its feeble beam. When the light finally pierced the darkness, I found myself face to face with the ancient entity. Its form was a grotesque amalgamation of bones and decay, its eyes glowing with an unholy fire. I could feel the tendrils of darkness curling around my soul, whispering promises of eternal suffering. The entity's voice echoed in my mind, a chilling chorus that promised to devour my sanity. But I refused to let fear consume me. Summoning every ounce of strength, I unleashed a barrage of ancient spells and incantations. The room shook as the entity recoiled, its form flickering like a dying flame. It let out a wail that pierced the very fabric of reality, a cacophony of agony and defeat. But victory came at a great cost. As the entity dissipated into the ether, I felt a chilling emptiness settle within me. The horrors I had witnessed, the darkness I had confronted, had taken a toll on my spirit. I was forever marked by the shadows, haunted by the things that lurked beyond mortal comprehension. As I emerged from the asylum, the world outside seemed tainted, its colors muted and its beauty diminished. I had vanquished the ancient entity, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something far more sinister lingered on the horizon. Now, as I continue my journey as a supernatural bounty hunter, I am forever tormented by the knowledge that there are forces beyond our understanding, lurking in the depths of darkness. And though fear may be my constant companion, I embrace it, for it is the only weapon that keeps me vigilant in the face of unspeakable horrors.